Hello and welcome to this interesting educational webinar on thematic investing, what it is and how should investors think about it. Friends, this is an investor education and awareness initiative by Mirae Asset Mutual Fund. Friends, to talk about thematic investing, today we have with us Umeshkumar Daila, Head-ETF Sales at Mirae Asset Investment Managers India Private Limited. Umesh has over 17 years of experience in financial services business. So without wasting a single minute, let me welcome Umesh. Welcome, Umesh.
Thank you.
Okay. So Umesh, my first question to you is that what is thematic investment and why it is growing globally?
Yeah, Nishant, thank you so much, first of all, to invite me for this session. So, as we know that thematic investing is something which now has started picking up, and investors are more keen about these themes. And as you asked, why thematic investing now? Because when we talk about thematic investing, it basically focuses on long-term structural trends, right? And the ideas to capitalize on them. So rather than focusing on a specific sector or a company, it basically enables investors to get returns through potential opportunities created by economic, social, and tech related changes. A theme based investment approach basically allows investors to personalize their portfolios to include investments that are aligned with their interest or expectations and are geared towards select trends. So now obviously thematic investing has some characteristics also. So if we summarize or if we sum it up in terms of characteristics of thematic investing, we can summarize in four parts. One is the structural trends. So it actually captures the structural trends, long-term economic changes which are yet to happen, supposed to happen, social or tech-related trends. Second is sector independence. So it cut across countries, traditional sectors. So it's not restricted to any specific sector or a country. In some of the themes, it goes beyond sectors or beyond countries also. And third characteristics is like security selection. So it identifies companies with exposure to different target themes. So when I talk about theme, it's a combination of different companies, countries, different sectors, all put together. And the last characteristics would be it captures the change. The capturing trends, because we have seen that few 10 years back how the life used to be and now how where we have. So the themes have changed and the tech related changes have changed the way we used to live. So it captures the changes also. So all four characteristics I would say are the key characteristics which we can say is like a thematic investing can be defined into. And if I sum it up in one line, it is like investing for your future by investing into the future. That's how themes are being perceived now. So and to give some data points here, if I quote here ETF GI, as per ETF GI data, it says that globally there are close to 1271 thematic ETFs already there, which are already listed, and they have an assets of close to $419 billion, which around 252 providers already launched those products, and which are listed around 51 close to exchanges into 41 countries. So the point where I'm trying to make here is it is becoming day by day bigger and bigger, and investors are showing more interest towards these themes because of these reasons.
But Umesh, how thematic investing is different from market cap or sectoral funds?
I think the major factor that differentiate thematic funds from market cap or a sector fund is their investment strategy. A thematic fund basically intends to capitalize a trend, as I said, and would invest around a theme that cut across different sectors, right? There are less so when thematic investing we talk about, these products are less concentrated as compared to sector funds, but are still more concentrated as compared to market cap based funds, right? So for an example, like if I have to explain you through an example, like let's take an example of electric vehicle fund. If there is a fund based on electric vehicle as a theme, so then that will invest into companies which involved into the entire supply chain of electric vehicle, starting from production, including automakers, auto component suppliers, raw material, battery providers, mining companies, etc. So it captures the entire ecosystem, entire chain of electric vehicle. Whereas if you compare it with an auto fund, that fund will auto rated sectoral fund, that fund will invest into auto OEMs, which is original equipment manufacturers, or auto ancillaries. So as compared to a normal sector fund, theme covers the bigger part of the entire chain or the ecosystem of the particular theme.
Okay. So, Umesh, what are the various themes which are becoming popular these days?
Thematic investing, as I said earlier, also thematic investing as a whole is gaining traction and popularity also, which is because of which it leads to a emergence of many new themes are coming up in recent years. We have seen it has been it has various categories also and various approaches also, which differs in terms of investor expectation and the ideology that determine the underlying investments. Thematic investments that are universally available to investors by various approaches are like disruptive trends, which includes like your artificial intelligence, cloud computing, electric vehicle. Then the approach comes like mega trends. So mega trends includes your healthcare innovation, your environmental sustainability, etc. Then it comes ESG funds. So ESG is a fund which focuses on companies with strong corporate governance and ESG practices. Then comes outcome oriented. So outcome oriented is like fund such as consumption related or manufacturing fund. These are the fund which based on outcome or a result. So these are four different categories I would say where themes are emerging. Globally, if you talk about, again, I would like to quote ETF GI here. Globally, as per ETF GI, there are around close to 475, and
Hmm.
close to more than 470 new thematic ETFs were launched
Hmm.
in 2021, which that number was around 139 in 2020. So it means we are saying that that number has gone up subsequently as of April 2022. Right. The thematic ETFs have witnessed more than around $69 billion of inflows in last 12 months, which is across regions, which is across countries, led by US and Europe, and now slowly and gradually we've seen countries like India is also gaining some traction of these kind of themes.
Okay. So, Umesh, why do you think that passive products may be the better way to take exposure in various themes?
So, see, when we talk about passive funds taking exposure, there is a cost element to it also. And while having a exposure into a passive fund, which gives you exposure into an entire ecosystem, or it replicates, follows the index, right? So when we say whenever passive funds invest, they basically replicates the underlying ETF or underlying index. So ultimately you have to follow the index, and whichever company is involved into that index will be followed. So there is no tactical call taken by any fund manager, because when you go for a theme, you would like to capture the entire theme. So there is no biasness, and it gives us more clarity to the investor that he or she is clearly facing or focusing on the underlying index, which gives a better return with a lesser cost. So I would say, and also the fund of fund structure are also available on passive side, which gives a same experience to the investor, which he or she must be having on a mutual fund platform. So it is better to go for a passively managed fund, which has lesser tracking error, lesser cost, and end of the day, it replicates the entire ecosystem or the underlying index or ETF. So that's a better way of, I would say, to start with.
So, Umesh, what are the themes which Indian investors may explore for investment?
See, when we talk about India, India historically uh, has been a country where the products are based on thematic, you know, landscape being limited to old economy, which includes like infrastructure, housing, and consumption based funds.
Right.
Lately we have seen ESG also has emerged. So investor can consider investing into big emerging themes and mega trends like artificial intelligence, electric vehicle, clean energy, cloud computing. these are the themes which are emerging now, and now slowly and gradually, as I said, India has also started getting some traction. Some trends are coming that these kind of products are being liked by Indian investors, and these are the themes which are not already available in investors' portfolio. So these themes can be looked at. Obviously, for these themes, investor has to go outside India. They have to look at international funds. If they look at internationally managed funds, then automatically the exposure will be given to not in India, also outside in India, and that gives a global diversification to the investor, which exposes investors' portfolio for a global mega trends also. So, I mean, these are the things which an investor to start with maybe can look at in India.
So, Umesh, one last question. How should investor create a portfolio using thematic products? And what should be the ideal allocation to it?
Whenever we talk about creating a portfolio, it is always based on investment objective. And obviously, the goal, if investor has a goal, or specifically when we talk about theme, it one more element comes, which is conviction. If investor has a conviction, or his advisor has a conviction that this particular theme is going to go do well, then that an investor can consider that particular theme. Investor can take a short-term tactical call also, and or should make a long-term strategic allocation also, where they can patiently ride the entire growth cycle of a future-based theme. Since these investments have higher concentration risk compared to broad-based indexes, broad-based funds also. So investor can consider around say 10 to 15% allocation to thematic products from their overall portfolio. If an investor is following a core satellite approach, then in that case, the satellite part can be thematic funds, where the core can be portfolio should include your broad-based indices such as S&P 500, Top 50, or Nifty 50. These are the indices which in investor can look at from a core perspective. But from a thematic, from a satellite approach perspective, investor can always look at thematic funds where they can include like your AI, cloud computing, electric vehicles, or these kind of theme as I talked about earlier also. So maybe investor can create a balanced portfolio while keeping these things in mind.
So, with that, we have come to an end to this interesting session. Thank you so much, Umesh, for sharing some valuable insights on thematic investing.
Thank you, Nishant. Thank you so much.
And I thank each one of you for being such a wonderful audience. Have a great day at work, guys. Bye.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.